Hello, friends, and welcome back to Malicious Compliance Stories. Why are people so horrible? I just never get that. And why didn't she get that the drive-thru wasn't even open at all? Crazy lady. Feel sorry for the husband. His life must be either pretty entertaining or miserable. But before we begin, best way to support our channel is to leave comments, like, and subscribe with the turned-on bell so you don't miss the new video every single day. You're blocking the drive-thru. I drive a concrete mixer and was just getting done pouring a drive-thru for a new Chick-fil-A going up in the area. The drive-thru's fresh and wet cement. There are construction fences all around, but the main building structure's completed. The fences all say, "Stop, construction, staff only." Except for one that has a Chick-fil-A coming soon sign. I'm washing down the truck when I hear a loud honking. Not thinking anything of it as I'm in a shopping center, I keep washing the inside of the truck down. I then hear more honking and look over to the front to see a Karen, EM, with her head out her window, full Karen haircut, then screaming, "Move out of the way! You're blocking the ducking drive-thru!" I see she has 2 empty car seats in the back and a sticker in her window saying "Baby's on board." I'm glad her kids weren't in the car when this happened. I'm not a fan of cussing. I came down off the ladder and go to explain that it isn't open yet. As I walk toward the car, she starts moving her car closer to me. She's now about 2 feet from the front of my truck. My truck's backed into the building. I kept thinking, how exactly does she expect me to get out? As I get to her window, I let her know nicely that the Chick-fil-A location is not open yet and inform her that she'll need to move back so I can move my truck from the fenced-off area. EM is having none of it. EM's adamant that I move my truck out of the way so she can get into the drive-thru. Well, I tried, I thought. I asked her to move her car back so I can move my truck out of the fenced area. Once again, she refused to comply and started beeping her horn again. I've had it. My truck horn, for those who don't know what one sounds like, are very, very loud. If you're too close, they can scare you, even give you a ringing in your ears. As she was refusing to move and constantly honking her horn, I decided to show her mine. Honk, 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 honk. And I started to move forward. EM moved her car back quickly. She must not have checked her mirrors or blind spot because she backed up into a stop sign that was about 75 feet away. Of course, EM got out and came over to start blaming me for her own actions. I forced her to back up into the sign. I'm 100% at fault for her car damage, and I rushed her car so she had to avoid me by backing up as fast as she could. I love this one. EM called the police soon after. The site foreman saw the entire event, but he doesn't speak much English and likely already had to deal with various people trying to get into his site, so he just sat back and watched until the police arrived. We each told our stories, and of course EM made hers sound like it was a life-or-death situation where she was a kind woman just trying to make it to the new Chick-fil-A for lunch, and I was blocking it just to be cruel to her for no reason of her own. Now, without warning, I charged her vehicle and forced her to rush and back into the stop sign. The officer came over and asked if it was true. I replied, "No, sir. I have a dash cam with audio you can see if you'd like to play the file on a computer." Luckily for me, our foreman offered his laptop. EM's story fell apart quick. The officer's face turned to a frown that I swear could have made the Pope feel guilty. He walked over to her, went straight to his handcuffs, and began to read her rights to her. EM was charged with obstruction of justice, reckless driving, and misuse of 911. As she was being placed into the back of the police charger, I saw a man coming over with a 2-child stroller that had 2 babies riding in it. The officer explained the situation to him, and he honestly didn't look too surprised. He seemed to just nod and walked quietly over to the car, took pictures, and unloaded his kids with the stroller and left. I feel bad that he had to go through that, but I'm under the impression that it wasn't the first time she's done something like this. I didn't press charges, but I reported everything to my company for their discretion to. And our second story. A customer drove an hour just to yell at me. Background. I've been working at a popular retail joint in the U.S. for about 5 years as one of the main fitting room operators. Edit to clarify, the fitting room operator is in charge of the fitting room, answering incoming phone calls, and half of the women's clothing section, including clearance. The fitting room operator acts as a middleman to filter through the customers so busy sections like toys and electronics won't get bombarded with phone calls. Therefore, we keep a list at the fitting room this time of year to see what items were out of stock. The Christmas season simultaneously brings out the worst and best in people. Tonight, I got one of the worst. Me will be me, AC will be angry customer. So tonight is not only the Thursday before Christmas, but it's one of my overall worst days at this job. It's roughly 20 minutes till we close, and I'm attempting to not break down. I've been working nonstop answering phones, letting customers in and out of the fitting rooms, cleaning a section, and fixing clothes for 8 hours straight with nothing to show for it. This woman called several hours earlier asking if we had a certain smartwatch in stock. I asked the electronics team, and they told me we were out and were not expecting any more for a few more days. Later, while I'm attempting to fix a rack, a very angry woman comes up to me with her silent partner in crime and screams, AC, are you the operator? Uh-oh. Me. Yes, I'm the operator tonight. She proceeds to shove a bag in my face. AC. Look at it. Hell no. I decline and she huffs and grunts, then proceeds to go on an angry rant. AC. You told me you didn't have these damn watches in stock. We've been to 3 stores tonight looking for these, and you lied to us. Oh no, shame on me. 3 stores? The horror. Just to point out once again, these watches are smartwatches, are really popular and hard to find. I was told by the electronics section that we had none all day, so that's what I kept telling the customers over the phone. Back to the story. Me. Well, ma'am, I apologize for the inconvenience, but when I asked the electronics team earlier if we had any for another customer, they told me we had none. I was going off what the team told me. We probably just set these watches on the shelf. AC. I don't want your damn excuses. All you kids are spoiled nowadays and want everything for yourselves. Me. Ma'am, AC. I know it isn't your fault, but you lied to us. I drove all the way from town an hour away to get these damn things, and I could have gotten them earlier if it wasn't for you. Oh, no, I'm just the worst human being on the planet. AC. I know you're just doing your job, but you lied to us. I could not resist coming over here and telling you off. OMG, how terrible of me. Seriously? You know I'm doing my job but couldn't resist making the trip worth it by hunting the store to find me, then scream at me? Wow, such maturity. Me. Again, I'm sorry for the trouble, but I'm glad you got your watches and I hope you have a happy holiday. AC. I'm not. Me, with the fakest smile and voice in the world. Goodbye. And as the lady huffs and walks away with her friend complaining, I return to my miserable night. And this is why you get your damn Christmas items before the holidays. As a side note, turns out a truck had arrived about 30 minutes earlier and had some smartwatches on them that were literally just placed on the shelf before these customers came into the store. I know it's not your fault, but I'm going to yell at you anyway, because seeing you miserable makes me feel better. And our last story. The HOA decided that they can control us. Last month, my wife and I, newly married, moved into a community that had no HOA listed. We're both the DIY types and take care of our own property. Part of the reason we picked our house is it had a large corner backyard with RV parking on the side, a fair amount of workspace. The community was also in great condition considering no HOA was involved. One weekend, we started redoing the kitchen cabinets. They were from the 70s and we wanted a more hardwood instead of the cheap wood that was installed. I'd say the saw was on for 5 minutes when one of the neighbors came up to say it's against HOA rules to do DIY improvements on my home. I obviously wondered what he was talking about as I made absolutely sure there was no HOA before signing and moving in. He replied that they have a community HOA that would be in our best interest to join. I obviously said no and went back to my saw. An hour later, the guy's back with a woman in business attire to hand me the rules and to have me sign the acknowledgement/entry papers, also to retain my $289 a month fee. Once again, I explained I'm not interested, nor do I care about their club. I see no reason to abide by their rules. I simply stated that I will keep my property maintained, and that's all they need to know. She gave me a few choice words and left. I thought all was done, but after being in this sub for a while, I knew it might have been short-lived. Today, I received a fine for a leaky sprinkler. It leaks for all of 5 minutes past the timer. At 4 a.m., one of those prunes has been watching my house at 4 a.m. I'm up at all hours of the day for work, so I was able to check. I know this is just the beginning. Important info, the HOA is not registered, at least from what I can find. The board's members' names and signatures are listed in the back of the rules book. I've already started the paper trail just in case it gets worse. Edit, more info. I'm in California. The cost of HOAs can go much higher than $289 a month. I've been noticing that there isn't really anything for the HOA to maintain here. No pool, mainly cemented surfaces. The sidewalks have minor cracks and the road hasn't been paved in at least 5 years. I'm wondering where the money from the 50-plus homes here are going to. Well, the ones that joined anyways. Update. Because I've been lucky enough to have a slow day, I called my brother and he's bringing over a signed cease and desist to be dated at my leisure. Update 2. I handed it over during the next meeting and let them know if they keep it up, they're not going to like how we update our house. I'm thinking a giant mural on the side of the house of a bear riding a Mustang while playing an electric guitar with a flamethrower would be a good example. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.